Joining us now to talk about drill performance, Randy Taylor, agricultural engineer here at Oklahoma State. Randy, let's talk about, first of all, why it's important to really get that drill set up and take a little bit of time with it before you hit the field.
Well, I think if you want to talk about taking your wheat production to the next level, okay, if I'm really going to start managing a little more intensely, then I think you got to look at what we're putting in the ground with. Certainly with our row crops, we do that. I mean, we focus on planter adjustment and maintenance and all those things, and I think we need to think about the same thing with drills.
All right, so where do we start?
Well, first thing I would start is I would just look at, if we're running a fluted feed type metering system, is I would just index all my cups to make sure each row is putting out the same amount. So there can be some minor differences with how these cups are set, and so I would check that first and just make sure that that I'm doing a good job of metering what I want to meter, when I'm in the field. So if that's 75 pounds to the acre, if it's 90, 120, or 60, whatever it is, make sure that I know what I'm putting out. And also pay attention to seed size. If I got a lot smaller seed and as opposed to larger seed, then it may not be exactly metering the same amount with the same settings.
Right.
So those are things to think about for sure.
All right, so that's here. So we get down, down to the ground. Let's talk about the parts here.
The first thing I'm going to think about is down pressure. Do I have enough force on my row units? Because as we do less and less tillage, then keeping the unit engaged in the ground is really important. Because I think if we look at studies that have gone on or that we've had at Oklahoma State in the Plant and Soil Science Department, they look at seeding depth, then most farmers are not planting at the depth they think they are. They're almost always planting a little bit shallower. And so if I talk to a farmer and he tells me he's planting at 1.5 inches, I'm probably thinking 1.25 inches, So there's certainly some differences there. So trying to make sure that you're planting at the right depth is going to be really important. And a lot of that may come from downforce. That as we get into firmer soils that are not tilled as much, then if we're not adjusting our downforce, then we may not be actually pushing it in the ground like we want. Right. So that's certainly one thing. And if I'm going to err with downforce, I certainly would like to err on the side of having too much. As opposed to not enough, because not enough will cause that inconsistent depth placement, and so I think a little bit more. Now, it'd be nice if we could say, oh, I need 75 pounds, or in this field I need 100 pounds of downforce, but it's not that. You have enough to keep it in the ground and get the depth, get the seed at the depth that you want. That's the important thing. Checking it. Get off the tractor and look.
All right, so what else down here?
Well, and another thing I'd look at the opener disc, because as you look at your soil engaging components, make sure that they're sitting right. And then with our drills, just the same as our planters, the drill needs to be set at the right frame height, as well as it needs to be level. If the drill's not level, then those opener discs may be kind of pointed down a little bit too much, or they may be kind of pointed up a little bit too much, and they're not actually engaging the soil where they were designed to. So making sure that the drill is level to start with, and making sure that the opener discs are in good shape. We certainly, if we have any residue at all that we're going to deal with, then we want that drill to be able to cut through the residue and not hairpin it down and just push it down in the slot. And so making sure that we're engaging the residue with the disc in the right place, as well as having the opener disc in good shape and sharp. I think those are some real basic keys.
All right. Randy Taylor, agricultural engineer here at Oklahoma State University.